Government, let me tell y'all motherfuckers something. I don't know what the fuck this coronavirus is about. I don't understand how that shit was from Wuhan, China. Now all of a sudden this shit is on motherfucking tour. And let me tell y'all something. I ain't gonna front. A bitch is scared. I'm a little scared, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit got me panicking. And a lot of you motherfuckers think it's a joke, like I was thinking, right? But that shit right there, just because you think you immune to it, guess what? Your pocket ain't, bitch, because a lot of shit comes from motherfucking China, bitch. So if you wonder where your motherfucking weave or your fashion over motherfucking packages have arrived, guess what, bitch? Coronavirus! Coronavirus! I'm telling you, shit is real. Shit is getting real. Woo! Bitch, I'm scared.
How's everybody doing? This video I'm posting up has a lot to do with the Rona, people dying, people gathering, hundreds of people, not a mask in sight, not adhering to just a simple mask mandate, and they're just crowding around and Where are the cops at? Where are the authorities at for people congregating by the hundreds just because it's all about politics? What about all the people dying? I've had a lot of context in there from different news sources and stuff that comes out. I hope that the reason I did this was to see the insanity of a lot of people's mindset. You know, it's always my belief that our mindsets is one of the greatest attributes we have. Either you have it or you don't. Is it working for you or against you? You know, people are dying in massive numbers right now. And yet, some people don't even believe when they're at death's door that they have the Rona. What's wrong with that? I hope that you see this and see the insanity. And I always like to use a reference point for, you know, when my mind starts telling me all the bad shit about myself, all the bad shit I've done, all this and all that. I just don't listen to it. So I like to have a reference point. People can say whatever you want about me or my past or whatever, but I'm not that fucked up. I'm not that screwed up. I'm not that insane because I actually care about people, you know. But once again, when it comes about politics, I guess it really doesn't matter. So I hope it's really long, and I hope you like the introduction. Later, you guys have a great weekend.
So we know right now, actually tomorrow, there is a court hearing that will be looking through some of the affidavits and some of the allegations that have been made here in Georgia, addressing some instances such as non-resident and commercial addresses being used to vote. So a lot of fraudulent votes. They're saying they're going to be looking at those tomorrow, and hopefully, these people tell us, hopefully the judge will allow these cases to either open investigations immediately, and they say if they, some attendees here told us if those lawsuits fail this week, they will, they really believe that they'll go through district to district, and eventually a judge will rule in favor and open litigations and lawsuits. That way they can get to the bottom of what's going on here. So we know one of the hottest topics right now is about the Dominion server in Fulton County, which is where we are right now. That's the metro. So here with us is a Georgia native by the name of Ricky, right?
Yes, very good. Good memory.
Where are you from, Ricky?
I actually grew up in Chamblee.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about what's going on in Georgia right now? Are you confident that these lawsuits will open some investigations and get to the bottom of it? What do you think?
I hope so. I pray about it. I talked to a lot of friends of mine, and, you know, we have a lot of faith in our system, but it's just a lot of unknowns here that we don't know when it's happening or what's happening, and just we're just disappointed in our politicians who just are not doing anything about it or really not taking it seriously, looking at what's happening.
You know, Ricky, I find it interesting what you said about you have faith in the system and you have faith that, you know, everything's going to work out, because I've interviewed a couple of people here who said the exact same thing. You'd almost think that's like a motto now.
Well, it has to be, because that's what our country was built on, and that's what all our principles as a business person believe in, the integrity of our election and of our countries. And if you say that you can steal elections, then that takes away everything else we always believe in. Election's supposed to be sacred, and every vote's supposed to count. And that's what we're having a hard time with me and a lot of my friends. We don't know what to do. We feel like we're kind of helpless, because we voted, we did what was right, and we do all the stuff that's right by law. But if you have somebody cheating and getting away with it, and everybody says it's okay, that doesn't make good sense to me. How does our country work then?
Yeah, I definitely hear you, Ricky. And actually, Ricky, for those of you guys listening, Ricky is one of the advocates that was outside of the Secretary of State's office earlier this week. The Secretary of State called a special meeting, and some Trump advocates and election integrity advocates said that some Trump advocates and election integrity advocates scheduled a meeting with Brad Raffensperger, right, earlier this week.
Yes, I was.
And you guys were supposed to talk about, what you expect from him, calling on him to take more action, right? Is that what?
Correct. Yeah, correct. To find out what was going on and why things weren't happening. Yes. And he was not there. He didn't show up.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. And I actually called his PR person to see where is Brad Raffensperger, because he was scheduled with this meeting. We were all out there waiting, and he didn't show up. The PR person never got back to me, actually. She never told me why they weren't there. Maybe it was the holiday, right? So we'll give him that much.
Okay, correct. Yeah, but we're all working. We're all there, All the Georgia people were there, so.
Wow, look at these ladies behind.
Coronavirus! I'm telling you, shit is real! Shit is getting real! Woo! Bitch, I'm scared.
Here to describe what she's seeing on the front lines in South Dakota is Jody Doring. She's a registered nurse who has called the coronavirus crisis in her state, quote, a horror movie that never ends. Nurse Doring, thank you so much for being here. When I read some of your tweets, my jaw dropped. You said that even now that the hospital is being overrun with COVID patients, they come in, they're horribly ill, they're gasping for breath, and yet they don't believe they have COVID?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing to watch is that people are still looking for something else, and they want a magic answer, and they don't want to believe that COVID is real. And the reason I tweeted what I did is it wasn't one particular patient. It's just a culmination of so many people. And their last dying words are, this can't be happening. It's not real. And when they should be spending time FaceTiming their families, they're filled with anger and hatred. And it just made me really sad the other night. And I just can't believe that those are going to be their last thoughts and words.
Anger and hatred towards you?
I think it's just a belief that it's not real, and nursing happens to be on the receiving end of that. And that's okay. We can take that. That's what you're there for. It's just in the bigger picture when you try to reason with people of, can I call your family, your kids, your wife, your friend, your brother? And they say no, because I'm going to be fine. And you're watching their oxygen levels, maxed out on what we call vapotherm at 100%, and their oxygen level might be 75. That's not really that compatible with life. And we know where that's going to head. And it just makes you sad and mad and frustrated. And then you know that you're just going to come back and do it all over again. And that's kind of where that stemmed from.
How could it not make your own head explode? They're gasping for breath. Their oxygen levels are dropping. What do they think is wrong with them?
I think people look for anything. People want it to be influenza. They want it to be pneumonia. They want it to be, we've even had people say, well, I think maybe it might be lung cancer. Something so far-fetched. And the reality is, since day one, when COVID started in this area in March, you've kind of been able to say if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. Like, I hate to tell you that you have COVID, but that's what you have. Even after positive results come back, some people just don't believe it. Now, that's not everybody. We have a lot of patients who are very, very grateful for their care and very thankful for what you do. But unfortunately, that's not what I'm remembering right now. And as my nursing career, that's not what I want to be remembering for. I want to remember the saves and the happy situations. And what I was remembering chilling on the couch the other night with my dog was not that.
Of course not. I mean, of course not. And it's just so mind-blowing to think that they would rather have lung cancer. They'd rather a diagnosis of lung cancer than of coronavirus. And so, I mean, you've said that it was, I mean, if I quote you from morning television, it's an effing horror movie that you live every day. And so what toll is this taking on you?
Yeah, hindsight, I didn't realize that this was going to go viral. I probably could have left the F-bomb out of there, but the reality is that's how you feel. And so it is like, it's just a movie where the credits never roll. You just do it all over again. And it's hard and sad because every hospital, every nurse, every doctor in this state is seeing the same things. These people get sick in the same way. You treat them in the same way. They die in the same way, and then you do it over again. And we're so thankful for the lessons we've learned along the way, and we're doing a good job of taking care of the people that come in. And we're managing our patient loads here right now. Sometimes it's day to day, sometimes it's hour to hour. But the reality is that right now it's not getting better. You said just as you started the show, 50 to 60% positivity rate. I mean, our entire state has 880,000 people. It doesn't take much to do the math on that for how many of us are sick.
Do you even notice them?
No.
They're holding some signs. So we have a couple of women here for Trump. They have these signs out here.
And we're normal people. Absolutely.
What do you mean by normal people? What is that?
It means not crazy.
Well, that's good.
Not angry.
Why would you have to say that? Why does that have to be stated?
Because they say that we are.
Oh. The mainstream media, you mean? Or
Absolutely.
Wives and mothers. Yeah, just normal people. We're not crazy.
So have you guys always supported Trump since 2016, or did you have?
Yes.
Well, why?
Because he was different, and he speaks the truth, and he speaks what he feels. Doesn't have a filter. It offends some people, but you got to do policy over personality. And
my 16-year-old son said something that I loved. He said, most men go to D.C. to be the president to get rich and to have a nicer house. Donald Trump went to D.C., got a lesser of a house, and lost money. And I'm like, that's a great point that my 16-year-old observed,
He didn't have to.
Something that I also thought about too. He says it multiple times. He's lost money doing this,
Right. So for a child to understand that he is lost to serve, that's a big thing. So that's why we support him.
So I already talked to Janice earlier, which gave me some very good comments about what's going on here in Georgia, what she thinks about these lawsuits. What do you guys think? Do you think that they're going to be successful and open some investigations, or?
I sure hope so. I mean, that's what we're praying, and that's what we're counting on. I mean, honestly, I believe it. I believe that it's got to expose the corruption on every level. If nothing else, it has to. Otherwise, why do you vote? Why? I mean, if they don't fix that, then everything's lost. Our nation's lost. So I back the lawyers 100%. I can't wait to hear Linwood, and I can't wait to hear Sydney. I'm excited that they're standing firm in their beliefs and what they know to be fact and the evidence that they've gotten. And, we just got to pray that it goes all the way to the end.
What's your name?
Hey.
What's your name?
Laura.
Thank you, Kay. Laura. So what do you guys think? Let me ask you real quick. What do you guys think about the Dominion server, right? So we know that Sidney Powell says that server was taken away from Fulton County's recount, but the directors have told our investigative reporters they're still there. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think?
There's more than one server. Yeah.
No, the one that crashed.
Both could be telling the truth.
Well, I guess there were, what's left unsaid. In question.
Well, I just pray every day.
We'll see.
I just pray every day that truth is revealed. That truth is revealed, and it is. every day we hear more and more truth. And so I'm just praying, and I'm thankful that the Lord is raising up these people, Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood, that are brave and that are willing to stand up and look crazy and seek truth and seek justice. And it's so disappointing to me that here I thought we live in a Republican state and we have a Republican governor. We're fine. And what a farce that has been. And so it's been a wake-up call, you know, that you can't just be a Republican, you can't just be a Democrat. You need to know your candidates and what they stand for. And so that, like Kay said,
goes on both sides.
Absolutely.
So bottom line, it doesn't matter who, if you're standing in the Democratic Party or standing in the Republican Party, there's guilty parties in both.
Right, about the values. That's one of the things, you know, I almost refuse to believe that Raffensperger or Kim have just this evil, you know, they want a malicious agenda. You know, I don't want to think that, but
To it, and before you know it, you're like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm one of them now. And I didn't.
Money just sucks you in, and I think they just got compromised, and I don't even know if they knew it.
Anyway, because
she said she doesn't even know if they knew it. What does that mean?
Well, I think you can I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they made some business deals, or, you know, they're so high up and people under them were signing contracts and making deals, and they just maybe were not paying attention that it could have happened that way. So,
but also, you know, choosing to ignore and choosing to, you know, play innocent it's not going to get you very far. It's going to get you caught. And
sad is that they just will not own it now and say a mistake was made, so let's make it right. Let's call it, let's have a special session and let's see what happens. Because our nation's at stake. So it's just sad to me that they're putting their personal, you know, well-being in front of millions of people and our children and our grandchildren.
that's what's so sad to me is to see the rhinos or the Republican in name only out there that aren't stepping up for the fight. Who are they for? Who are they really for? It is the American people that are backing him and backing these people. It's the Americans. It's not the politicians. It's not the ones that we're voting to get into office. I mean, it's us. We can't rely on them to speak for us anymore because they're not standing for us anymore.
So with that being said, what do you think about the Senate race? We know that some people, I think Lynn Wood called for a boycott. Do you think that's just kind of, we shouldn't, or do you think what do you think about the Senate race? We know.
But first, what Sidney Powell said, you know, who was an attorney for the president, now former, but you know, she's out at this Stop the Steal rally in your state. She says, quote, "I would encourage all Georgians to make it known you will not vote at all until your vote is secure." So she's telling people not to vote in the Senate runoffs. I mean, how detrimental is this to your party and your state?
It's crippling. It's the exact thing. Well, let's face it, Senator Loeffler and Senator Perdue were forced by President Trump to ask for my boss, Secretary Raffensperger's resignation. Otherwise, the implicit threat was going to be that he would do 2 tweets and torpedo their campaigns. But we're having the same outcome either way. I'm not going to say unfortunate. It's terrible. It's wrong. They literally in Georgia, you had the most secure vote you've had in 20 years. For the first time with paper again. So I think she's right. You should vote when your vote's secure. Your vote is secure.
Well, and I'm glad you just said what you just said, because you've said it before on the show. And I keep trying to make sure people understand the most secure election you've had. There is a paper trail for every ballot. The rest of this is just is disproven conspiracy theories. But yet these rallies are going on, right? They keep gathering people. Today, hundreds of people at that rally. And I want to play a little bit more about of what we heard today, Gabe, at the rally.
They have fought so hard to get rid of President Trump and tried every dirty, nasty, evil, illegal trick in the book to do it. Yeah, it is pure evil. Georgia was absolutely full of it. Rife with voter fraud.
You listen up, Gabriel. You're not going to sell our votes to China.
Your reaction, Gabe?
You know, I'd read that in a tweet. Somebody told me that Mr. Wood mentioned me by name. Crazy. It's insanity. It's just so baseless from any sense of reality. It's detached from reality. And yes, I'm a Republican, and I'm going to stay a Republican. I'm going to fight for the sanctity and sanity of a party that has been a big part of America, and I've been fighting for it since I was 15 years old. And Lynn Wood, the bizarre irony is he has not voted in a Republican primary since 2004. He's been voting in Democrat primaries. So I sort of question the underlying thought process beyond that. Encouraging anybody not to vote is ridiculous. I can't even, I guess, Aaron, I've gotten to a point now where nothing is incredible to me anymore. The president has to know at this point he's lost, as you pointed out earlier. We've done a regular count. We've done a hand tally, which, if you remember, the first conspiracy theory was that the Dominion machines were flipping votes.
Right.
And of course, our hand tally, dead spot on. And now we're doing a third recount, which again is essentially dead spot on. And another underlying part of the Dominion issue they have is in Wisconsin, in the counties where the Dominion machines were worked, President Trump got 59% of the vote. In the counties in Pennsylvania where the Dominion machines were used, President Trump got 52% of the vote. I mean, none of this makes sense with the flimsiest of looks at any level of reality. And it's just, and the problem is there's people who believe it. And we know that there's nuts out there who are going to think the president called Brad Raffensperger an enemy of the people. We should go after him maybe. And we've already had people go onto his property. But one of the things that set me off yesterday was, I stepped up to a degree. I'm on TV. People are going to, say things and do things. So I've got police protection outside my house. The secretary ran for office. At some level, you don't ask for it, but it comes with the territory sometimes. It's terrible, but it's true. But yesterday when I found out about this 20-something contractor who was literally just doing his job, and he was just doing a regular process of moving a report from one computer to another computer so he could read it. And these QAnon crazies saw it and said, he's manipulating voter data. They found his name. It was a unique name, so they found his family, started harassing them. And then 2 or 3 tweets down, there was a tweet from a guy that said, they said the kid's name, that you have committed treason. May God have mercy on your soul. I had a gif of a noose. And at that point, I was just done. So, and it's this misinformation, disinformation, and the steal and thing that something's been taken from me and something's been taken from you, and we got to do something about it. The reality is he's not going to win Georgia. He's not going to win Wisconsin. He's not going to win Michigan. He's not going to win Pennsylvania. He has the right to go to the courts, which they are doing. I understand that they're filing an official election challenge tomorrow. Everybody has due process. This stuff, what you just showed, it's ridiculous and unnecessary and frankly, at this point, dangerous.
Lynn Wood has kind of urged people, I think, to do boycott the Senate race. What do you think that's just dramatic, or do you agree?
No, I don't think it's dramatic, but I also think if we don't get these seats, I think if there's corruption there in those seats, then we need to deal with it later. We need to get the seats first and then deal with that corruption later. We've got to get the seats. So I'd like to know more about what he's saying. I'm trying to keep up with everything that he's saying, but it's hard. It's so much. It's like,
I think definitely we have to vote because people died for our right.
Governor Kemp to step up in front of the people, put his hand on this Bible, and tell us that he did not take money from China. He did. So did Brian Raffensperger. They won't put their hand on this Bible and swear to the other contrary, because if they do, they will commit perjury, and there's another reason to lock them up. The person that's leading the charge, I've been with her when she's worked 23 hours a day. I've seen the young people fighting for America under her charge and leadership. And let me tell you, you can call her the Kraken, but she's Sidney Powell. Come on up here, Sidney.
That makes we feel your prayers. I feel your prayers. General Flynn and I, throughout the ordeal we have been through, have felt the prayers of you and millions of people all across the country and, frankly, from around the world, who have helped us face everything we have faced and have the strength to proceed every day to keep fighting for the truth. Americans around the world and freedom-loving people around the world are starved for the truth and for freedom. That is exactly what they have all tried to take away from all of us. It's been increasing exponentially for the last 20 years. It's unbelievable to me, as a child of the 50s that grew up in just an amazing time in this country when you could walk to school safely and have friends of all kinds, and there was none of the divisiveness, at least in my life and the lives of my friends, regardless of their color, that we see now. In the world of real Americans, we're not defined by who we look like, what color we are, or anything else. We're defined by our love for freedom and liberty and justice for all, on which this extraordinary nation was founded. Those are the values, American values. God, family, country are the values we must return to now. We will not allow ourselves to continue to be influenced by flat-out communism, socialism, any of the dark forces that have come to impose their will on so many of us. Now is the time for every patriot in this country to stand up, make their voices heard, and be counted. Every person serving in any public office, whether it be local, county, state, or federal, works for you. You pay them, and you're supposed to be able to elect them with your lawful and rightful votes. There was and is still massive voter fraud across this country. It took all forms. It was not just the Dominion machines. We have experts and a witness who have explained to us that the fraud exists in the DNA of all the software that was run by any voting system in the country. So they all are at risk of having been manipulated. I think we will eventually find that the algorithm that flipped votes at a certain percentage from Trump to Mr. Biden was run all across the country. There might be a few areas that it wasn't used in, but not many. And then we have the extraordinary evidence of inexplicable spikes. I mean, hundreds of thousands of spikes in votes. We can see them injected into the system, sometimes at a rate of 90% for Biden and 10% for Trump. We all know that defies reality. You can't flip a coin 300,000 times and have it always land on heads. There are lots of people that got cheated. And it went, even local races. Lots of congressional seats, Senate seats. I agree, there should not be a runoff, certainly not on Dominion machines. I think I would encourage all Georgians to make it known that you will not vote at all until your vote is secure. And I mean that regardless of party. We can't live in a republic, a free republic, unless we know our votes are legal and secure. So we must have voter ID. And we probably must go back to paper ballots. That are signed and have your thumbprint on them. And we certainly should be able to find a system that can count them, even if it has to be done by hand. What we have experienced the last 4 years, both with respect to General Flynn and President Trump, is unacceptable in the United States of America. We expect that in Venezuela, unfortunately, where the Dominion systems and Smartmatic technology first took root and was used to ensure the election of Hugo Chavez, the brutal dictator. I'm still wondering what role our three-letter agencies had in the creation and distribution of that. The swamp was really bad, but it's at least 20% worse than I thought it was. There is a whole lot of draining that's going to have to be done. And that's why they have fought so hard to get rid of President Trump and tried every dirty, nasty, evil, illegal trick in the book to do it. Yeah, it is pure evil. We've already traced a lot of the money that did this back to China. We have internet white hat hackers, I think they call them, who saw back doors open in the system and saw people in Iran and China and Hong Kong and Serbia and I don't know how many countries having influence in our election system. All of this must come to a screeching halt right now. You and your children and your grandchildren and their children deserve the very best America has to offer. The only thing that really distinguishes us from other countries is our love of freedom and the application of the rule of law. It hasn't been applied fairly or equally in probably 2 decades. We must demand that change right now. We will give all our evidence to the Department of Justice as soon as we get it pulled together. I wish I could say I didn't have concerns about how that would be handled, but unfortunately I still do. It's going to take a lot of indictments and fast to show us that they really mean business, because there has been flagrant election fraud. We have evidence of everything from people buying votes with checks written from a business on K Street in D.C. to ballots being shredded, ballots being manufactured, ballots coming across the border from Mexico that are counterfeit, a plane full of ballots that came in, ballots distributed across state lines after being faked. I mean, there is no kind of voter fraud that hasn't been experienced this year across the country. Yeah, Georgia was absolutely full of it. Rife with voter fraud, but so are other states, including North Carolina and Virginia. Pennsylvania went solid for Trump, yet they're still, So we need to flood the legislators here in Georgia and the governor and the Secretary of State with phone calls and letters. Yeah, I know. Everybody feels like they're not being listened to, and that's just not right. This is your state and your country, and they need to remember they work for you. I just want to thank you all so much for caring enough to be here today. honor, and I know Lynn feels like it's his honor, and so does the rest of our significant team who have been working day and night since the election, none of whom have been paid a dime yet, although people have been contributing generously to defendingtherepublic.org. But we haven't even had time to get the stuff set up to write a check to pay anybody with yet. We're too busy fighting the fight. But yeah, thank you. I know you have my 6, and we all really appreciate that. Once again, you inspire us. God bless you, and God bless America.
God bless you, Sidney Powell. God bless you. God bless all of the people here. Danny Hamilton, I want to thank Danny Hamilton. He drives our Trump bus. Thank you, Danny. Read the United States Constitution. And here's what it makes clear. All the power, not some of the power, all of the power belongs to the people. This is our country. We tell government what they can and cannot do. They do not control the people. This is our country. We're going to take it back. We're circling the walls of Jericho. People are praying in this country. We're circling the walls of Jericho. And God Almighty's going to tear the walls down, and we're going to take America back again. You watch it happen. You watch it happen. You send that message to Bill Barr at the Justice Department. Do your job. You work for us, Attorney General Barr. Do your job. You tell the director of the FBI, do your damn job. You work for us. Investigate this fraud. And tell the director of the Central Intelligence Agency, get out of our country. You don't spy on Americans. You're not going to ever do it again in America. Thank God for Donald Trump. God Almighty created every one of us, and He created Donald Trump, and He gave him a task to fulfill in his life, and that was to be President of the United States in 2020, and he's going to be President of the United States for 4 more years. Watch it happen. The people will not allow it to be taken away from them, and neither will Almighty God. God's going to save this country. And He's going to use every one of you to do it. He's going to fill you with the spirit of King David the warrior. We are the rock. The people are the rock, and we're going to slay Goliath, the communists, the liberals, the phonies. Joe Biden will never set foot in the Oval Office of this country. It will not happen on our watch. Never going to happen. Come up here, Vernon Jones, a great American. Vernon, come up here. God bless Vernon Jones. Bring it up, Vernon. Yeah, baby.
Hello, America. Hello, Georgia. Are you fired up? I am too. This is a hell of a day. I need someone to help me just for a minute. I see Daniel Boone Jr. in the house. Come up here and hold my flag. He has a Daniel Boone hat on. I want him to come up. He's a little shy. You'll do it. Come on. Is he going to come up? Daniel Boone. You know about Daniel Boone. I'm going to get it in just a second. Thank you. I love this country. And I love Georgia. I'm Vernon Jones. I'm a member of the Georgia House of Representatives. And I took an oath to serve and protect not only the Constitution, but the people of the state of Georgia. And I'm not backing down. I'm here as an elected official. It's my obligation and my duty to get your questions answered. I am, too, in support and calling for a special session in the Georgia General Assembly. This is not a third world country. This is the United States of America. And I'm not just doing it for Republicans, I'm doing it for Democrats, I'm doing it for every single person who lives in the state of Georgia. This is not partisan. We are America. And you deserve it. You elect 180 members of the House, and you elect another 56 state senators. We should, the Constitution gave us the authority to set all the rules and regulations as it relates to state law for elections, not the Secretary of State. We should have that oversight. And that's why we need to have a special session so we can look at what Raffensperger did and his agreements with Stacey Abrams and that crowd, which is not a fair fight. That's an unfair fight. We're standing up not only for black voters, but white voters and Democratic voters and Republican voters and libertarians. We're standing up for everybody. They all should be on this stage. They all should be on this stage. And I'm like you. I don't want to see my country go any further left. As a matter of fact, let's put it in reverse and back it up. That's why I'm supporting Senator David Perdue and Senator Kevin Loster, and I'll tell you why. Some talked about staying home. I think about Dr. King. I think about all those folks who fought in the movement. They were kicked and they were beat, and some of them were even killed just to be able to go and vote. Dr. King was standing up for you then too. It's your country. You hire the politicians. They don't hire you. You have to come out. And I'm going to tell you why. Georgia has a history of going into battle. Georgia has a history of fighting. We're going to take this back to George Washington, General Patton. We're going to fight for this country, and we're going to hold the line like America has held the line in every war we've ever been in. Georgia is the battleground state. It's Georgia. Hold the line. 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 Peace out, America.
Vernon Jones. Now, I love Vernon Jones. Vernon Jones are more alike than we are different. But I'm going to disagree with Vernon Jones. Where's Kelly Loeffler here? Where's David Perdue? He ought to be standing right here. Those two people want your vote, then they ought to tell you what we're telling Brian Kemp. Get a special session of the legislature now. Do not be fooled twice. This is Georgia. We ain't dumb. We're not going to go vote on January 5th in another machine made by China. You're not going to fool Georgians again. If Kelly Loeffler wants your vote, if David Perdue wants your vote, they've got to earn it. They've got to demand publicly, repeatedly, consistently, Brian Kemp call a special session of the Georgia legislature, and if they do not do it, if Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue do not do it, they have not earned your vote. Don't you give it to them. Why would you go back and vote in another rigged election? For God's sakes, fix it. You gotta fix it before we'll do it again. They've already got 800,000 absentee ballots. They're printing them out over there in China, sending them over here, stamping them with a computer, signing the names. They stole this election from Doug Collins. Doug needs to stand up and fight too. There needs to be the electors chosen from the state of Georgia at a special session of the legislature to vote for Donald J. Trump. That's who Georgia wants to be president. That's who we the people voted for. And then give us a election on January the 5th. An entire down ballot vote that's fair, that's honest, where nobody can cheat us again. So the message needs to be sent. If they care about we the people, they'll support we the people. Remember, they don't have the power. They just have the name senator in front of their names because you gave it to them. Excuse me, Brian Kemp gave it to Kelly Loeffler, not the people. I voted Democrat, I voted Republican. I try to vote sometimes for the lesser of the two evils. That's what happened when I voted for Brian Kemp over Stacey Abrams. He'll never get my vote again. He's not going to get your vote again either, is he? Brian Kemp needs to go back down and get his shotgun and go shoot quail and dove and let the people run this state of Georgia. Get out of the damn Oval. Get out of the mansion. You don't deserve to be there, Brian Kemp. Get out of the basement. And take Brad Raffensperger with you. And take Jeffrey Duncan with you too. Y'all all go out on a quail shoot and leave Georgia alone because you're not doing the people's will. Maybe it's time to look beyond the Democrats and the Republicans. Maybe it's time for there to be a party of the people. Maybe there's time for it to be a party of American patriots, because I see American patriots everywhere. And American patriots love America. We're not going to be taken over by the Chinese. If you take the China money, go to China. Don't stuff your pockets with Chinese money when we buy Dominion, or you buy the COVID equipment from the people that sent the virus over here. You don't buy bullets from the enemy. Tell that to Brian Kemp, because that's what he did. Now, Sidney Powell and I want to try to answer your questions. That's Sidney Powell. How about Sidney Powell and Mike Flynn in 2024? He'll fight for America because he'll fight like a Flynn. I told you I'm not partisan. Vernon Jones for governor. Vernon will fight like a Flynn. How about some good, solid, hard-working American patriot out of the crowd of people I see here today? Run for governor. Take back your state. I support Donald Trump because he loves the people. I spoke with him the other day. He called me. I want you to know one thing that he told me. He knows he won this election. He said if I lost this election fair and square, I would concede. But he said, Lynn, I didn't lose it. I won it. And he said to me, with the conviction of the President of the United States of America, I will never concede. Don't you ever concede, Mr. President. You won this election. America voted for you. Stay in the White House. I'm not here. When you get out front like this, sometimes people say you're trying to make money. I don't want your money. God's given me enough, and enough is enough. But I will tell you to support my foundation, #FightBack. I formed it 5 months ago to defend and preserve and protect the Constitution and our rights. And I'm going to do it. You don't have to vote for me. You don't have to give me any money, but go to #fightback.law, fightback.law, and look at what we're trying to do and help us. Now, I want to tell you a personal story, if you don't mind. I was 16 years old. I'm going to tell this story first. That bus, Mr. Hamilton brought over 1,000 people here today. Give him a hand, give him a round of applause. I was 16 years old. My mother died, went to the morgue, and my father went to prison. I didn't have one thin dime in my pocket. But I took the talent that God gave me, and I had the fighting spirit to make it. But in any other country in the world, I would not have made it. I made it because I was born in America, and America gave me the opportunity to succeed in my life. And that's why I love America, and that's why I'm going to fight for America, and that's why you're going to fight for America. This is our country. Don't let anybody take it away from us. It's 1776. This is our battle. This is our fight. This is for our freedom. 1776 is back. Send a message from Georgia, the battleground state of Georgia. The battle starts here today at Wills Park, in this land, in this place, with these people. We're going to take our country back again. It's 1776. God bless you, and God bless America.
God bless America, Georgia! The energy in this place is electric. And the reason it is because what the left doesn't seem to understand is that we love this country so much so that we will fight for this country. So much so. They made the mistake of thinking that we were just going to roll over and take it, that we were going to let them steal this election, that we were going to let them make Joe Biden president of these United States. Not in my America. No. They made the mistake of thinking that we were still the party of Mitt Romney, the party of John McCain, the party that didn't know how to fight. But what they don't realize now is that we are the party of Donald J. Trump. We are the party of fighters. We are the party of courageous people who will lay it all out on the field and fight for this nation, because if we don't fight for it, who will? America is the greatest nation in the world, but it is not great by accident. It's great by the continued activism of bold Americans like yourself, who see that America, while it is great, it takes work for it to be great. Freedom just doesn't exist, it's preserved. Liberty just wasn't created, it was brought into action by patriots who had the courage to go out and fight for something they believed in. That is why we are here today, because America is so great that I'm going to fight for it. You will too. You will too.
God bless you. Very good. If you'll help us do this, because unlike Brian Kemp and Brad Raffensperger, we're going to answer your questions. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and we've got to do it in a very orderly fashion, please. If you can come around to the bus, and we'll get a line here, and we'll pull you up here. You can ask your question, and Sidney Powell or I, probably Sidney, she's a smart one. We'll give you the answers. We'll tell you the truth. So, if anybody has a question, if you can kind of make your way around here, I'll catch some on the front row. Before I do that, there's a lot of people that have not been on the stage today. Their names have not been mentioned. I could call out some people on my staff, Kimberly Bennett, Bob Salban. There's a host of people that love this country. Members of the staff, Brian Castleberry, Jake. We've had so many people help us. I've had tens of thousands of emails sent to me telling me how they got cheated, offering to help. People love this country. And I want to thank every one of them. Even if they're not named, they know who they are. And God bless them. Anybody on the... If you'll try to give your question to us clearly, shortly, and succinctly. Here we go. Come on up. Y'all help her up. This is the people's stage. You may. Why don't you tell us who you are and ask your question?
Ann Walsh, and my question is, first of all, Sydney, you're my hero.
She's everybody's hero.
I'll tell her that while I have the chance. What should we say? Give us some responses to give to friends or loved ones who think we're crazy. I'm keeping the faith. I ingest the news that I choose to ingest, and I see that justice should prevail, but we have a lot of people who are discouraged, and so they've some of them have given up. But what should we say to them other than that we still believe?
I'm going to let Sydney answer that, but I'm going to tell you quickly what I tell them. You tell them that only one perfect man walked on the face of this earth, and they said he was crazy too, but he wasn't crazy. He was Jesus Christ. Tell them they said the same thing about Jesus. Sydney.
You know, these are very difficult times. Some of us have lost good friends, and family members have gone a different way over the fact that we are insisting on the truth. It's just extremely difficult. The press, the mainstream press, is effectively brainwashing people. Yeah, I think the best way to try to approach it is to have a calm, factual conversation. But at the same time, we have to realize that the power of the media to lie is so overwhelming that it's very hard for some people who won't go to original source material or really be open to the facts to confront the reality that's really in front of them. Yeah, digital soldiers. Yep. General Flynn's digital soldiers have been a huge help in bringing us the truth. So there are lots of people you can follow on Twitter, but in terms of, those personal relationships that we've all lost, other than trying to keep loving them and reaching out to them with the truth and maintaining that consistency, I don't know. And there's no easy answer for that.
Thank you. Thank you. You could also tell them, turn off the television. What was it Joe Biden said? Tell them to go listen to the phonograph. I would tell anybody to think for themselves. Don't accept what you read in the newspapers and what you see on TV. They're liars. Go look up a color revolution, because that's what's going on in America right now. China's making its move because they need our land to grow their food. They can't take 4 more years of Donald Trump protecting America. So keep your guard up. Defend yourself. And whatever it takes within the bounds of law, you fight for your freedom. Next question.
Okay, so my question is, I've been hearing a lot about the Dominion switching votes in the computer, okay? But when they did the hand recount in Georgia, why didn't we then see massive discrepancies between what the computer totals were and what the paper ballot recounts were? If they moved 50,000 from Biden to Trump, wouldn't we see 50,000 less Biden votes in the recount?
Ran them back through the computer.
Yeah, but then the paper ballots would have to match exactly.
If you get a hand count of the paper ballots and envelopes on the absentees, Donald Trump won Georgia by a landslide.
Georgia did not do a full hand recount of the ballots. In the one county where they did do the hand recount, we found exactly what you're talking about. It was a small precinct. I don't remember the total number of votes, but they flipped 37 from Trump to Biden in this very small precinct. It was 0.52 or 52%, I think, of the votes there. So they weighted Biden votes at 1.52, and they weighted Trump votes at 0.48 when the votes went into the machine to change them. People have been destroying ballots right and left. We have shredded ballots that we found. It wouldn't even be possible now in Georgia to accurately count the actual ballots. Yeah, they have been destroying evidence. There was a fake a software update in Fulton County. They took the server, they changed the server. They've been destroying evidence right and left. They know they're caught. But the reason, well, there's several reasons why we can't get it all. One, they're destroying evidence. Another, the machines are actually built to even try to alter the audit trail for them. But we'd have to have a real hand count of every ballot and every envelope to get an accurate count of the votes.
I left some folks out real quick. Ask yourself this question. If you send any money to the Republican Party in Georgia, or you sent any money to the National Republican Party, where the hell are they? Where's Ronna McDaniel? Where's David Schaefer? Why are the Republicans not fighting for Donald Trump? If they don't fight for Donald Trump, including Loeffler and Schaefer, send them all home. Kay Kent, board member, president's team, my kind of person.
We, the people, want to know an answer to a question. What about all the veiled companies that Brad Raffensperger has? What? The various incorporated companies that Brad Raffensperger has. We would like to know an answer to that question. When we look at incorporated company, I believe that is public record.
I know about the law of defamation. I know about the damn crooked FBI, too. I represented Richard Jewell. I know about fraud. Ask a company called Avita. Stole $495 million of your taxpayer money. I got it back for you. The law of defamation says that if you make a false statement against somebody that's defamatory, they can sue you. Listen carefully, Governor Kemp. Listen carefully, Brad Raffensperger. I state as a matter of fact that you are criminals. You took money from Dominion. You took money from China with the COVID purchase. And I damn well bet you will never sue me because the truth will prove that I am right. You need to go to jail. Follow the money. Follow the money. These fat cats sitting around spending your money, giving it to China, sticking it in their families' pockets. That's not America. This country's got to get back to the truth. This is what you're here for. You're here because you love truth. And I love truth too. And I know as a matter of fact, spiritually and factually, that only the truth will set you free. Follow the money. Find the truth. Let the people of Georgia know the truth. And let's get some new people running this state. Another question.
All right. How many people here voted early in person? How many people? Okay. Because at the precinct where I voted early in person in Dunwoody, at the Dunwoody Library, they did something illegal. I spoke with a congressperson yesterday who had me back up when I told him the story, and he was mortified to hear what I told him. I told him that after I pressed the stuff and the piece of paper came out, my daughter was with me, we were corralled over to a poll worker who looked at the top of the ballot for the QR code to tell us which scanner to scan our votes in. Did that happen to anyone else, or was it just in my precinct? How many other people did it happen to? Did they touch your ballot? A lot of people? Yes, were there two separate scanners? For everybody? No? Okay, well, it was illegal. They're not allowed to look at your ballot at all. And why? Why did they have us scan into two separate scanners, one for Biden and one for Trump? Did you know that the user manual for Dominion teaches them how to delete batches of ballots? Did you know that? Did you know that?
I'll tell you what I didn't know, because I voted in person, Buckhead Library. I never knew that my vote was going to leave Fulton County, pass through Venezuela, Canada, find its way over to Barcelona or Frankfurt, and that I had cast it, and we've just learned this, on a machine with software that is 75% owned by the Communist Party of China. I didn't vote on a Chinese machine. I would never have done it. We've got to get back to simple rules. They had one of the most legitimate elections in recent history in Iraq. They voted by fingerprint. It's not that hard. Think about the millions and millions and millions of your dollars that have been wasted running them back through these China machines. He who has nothing to hide, hides nothing. What is Brian Kemp hiding? What is Brad Raffensperger hiding? Follow the money, follow those corporations. Find out what really happened to your vote and who sold it to China. Gina Haspel. Gina Haspel's the director of the CIA. Well, President Trump doesn't ask for my advice. If he did, I'd give it to him about Gina Haspel. Fire Gina Haspel yesterday. And fire Christopher Wray last week. The deep state permeates the Democrats. It permeates the Republicans. Donald Trump is fighting both parties right now. The Republicans are not helping him. The Democrats are not going to ever help him. They want to get him out of office even so bad they cheat openly. The only people that are helping Donald Trump are people like you and me. We, the people, are helping Donald Trump because we know that Donald Trump loves the people. I spoke with a close friend of the president's 6 months ago, and he told me the first time the president ran, he's thinking about building up his brand, and then he decided to get out and not run. And then he went across the country and he talked to the people. And he decided to run because he knew the people didn't have representation. He ran for you, the people. So he's not going to stay in office because of the Republican Party. He's going to stay in office because we, the people, demanded it. When we voted for him, I've looked at the real numbers. He won over 410 electoral votes. He damn near won every state, including California. 80 plus million votes. We're not going to let them steal our election. We're not going to let them steal our country. And we will die before we'll ever let them steal our freedom. When I tell you it's 1776 again, there were 56 men that signed the Declaration of Independence. They were pretty well off. They'd been in America for 100 plus years. They had a lot to lose. Their families, their plantations, their fortunes, the good names that they had built up over the first 100 years before 1776. 56 men signed the Declaration of Independence. Remember this part of that declaration. We pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. And most of them lost their fortunes. Many of them lost their lives. But they did it for their children and their grandchildren and the generations to come, because they did it for freedom. It's our time now. Pledge your life, your fortune, your sacred honor to keep this country free. This is our country. Keep America free. God bless every one of you. Go to the governor's mansion. Go to the state capitol. Blow your horns. Send a message. This is America. We're going to keep it free. God bless you all. And God bless America.
Thank you all for listening to me. I'm from Florida, and I'm also an attorney, but I'm not an attorney in Florida. I'm an attorney up north. I came down here because I helped on the Trump campaign this year in 2016. And I know Georgia went for Trump. And I know Georgia went for Purdue and Lawful. Okay. So I got credentials, I went to the election office in Fayette County. While I was reading my of, like they've done many, many years prior, way back from 2000. They were told, no, you can't vote. You already voted by mail. They said, no, we did not. We want to vote in person. They were forced to they were given a provisional ballot. I think it was done by force. They were never told, bring those ballots that you never asked for down to the office. We'll tear them up and you can vote in person. They were never told that. They were just told you can vote by provisional mail. They voted by provisional mail and it was put in a sealed box. They asked me, could you help us get some paperwork, some kind of evidence that our vote counted for Trump, Purdue, and Lochner? I said, I'll do the best I can. When I went back to the office on Saturday, I spoke to someone. She printed it out. They eventually got the printout, but the printout does not show who they voted for. It doesn't show that they voted for Donald Trump. So I want to thank Ms. Powell and Mr. Wood. I consider you brother and sister in the law. You're my mentors, and I love you. And God bless you and keep you strong. And I'll help you anywhere I can.
Thank you all.
They want an update on the lawsuit. We're asking for an emergency appeal to the 11th Circuit for some of the procedural problems that arose unexpectedly. And I think the 11th Circuit will do this very quickly and hopefully will order the impeachment of all the Dominion machines and devices across the state of Oregon. They're still requiring stuff despite a court order to preserve the evidence in 3 counties. The FBI is nowhere to be seen. The FBI is nowhere to be seen. I don't know why our governments didn't order the impoundment and secure the machines immediately. I think that they're partly responsible for the fraud we've experienced. And the other big problem is we don't know. I mean, I would assume and believe that candidates of both parties and different special interests across the country, if not around the world, have benefited from different use of these machines and the software and the technology for at least 15 years or so. We have evidence that Hillary Clinton used it in 2016 to defeat Bernie Sanders in California, for example. So it's happened before. This isn't the first time. This is the first time it's been so blatant. And that's because so many of you across the country voted for Donald Trump that you broke the algorithm. We have a witness from Venezuela who knows how the machines worked. He was there with Hugo Chavez right through all of it. He was briefed on the operations, and then he saw it operating election night from the special control room where they could flip the votes, drag and drop and trash whatever they wanted to trash, and make sure Hugo Chavez won his re-election. And he said that as soon as he saw the voting stop in those states the night of the election, when all of a sudden they all stopped, that was exactly what had happened. The vote was so overwhelmingly for Trump that they had to stop counting and go in and backfill with fake ballots or take time to inject votes into the machine that didn't exist and to trash Trump votes. So yes, we the people of the United States elected Donald Trump president, and we're not going to quit until he is.
I will see you tomorrow at the state capitol. Thank you. Stay mad as hell. We're not going to take it anymore.
Stop the steal! Stop the steal! Stop the steal! How many of y'all have seen my mean mug? My name's Ollie Alexander. I created Stop the Steal in 2020 because I knew that Trump would be betrayed, and we needed to put people in the streets to wait for people like Glenn Wood and Sidney Powell
The cavalry is here, but we are the foot soldiers that need to stay at the Capitol. So tomorrow, 9 a.m., who's coming to the Capitol? 9 a.m., we need you at the Capitol because there are 2 state Senate committees meeting. These committees wouldn't be meeting if 3,000 of you didn't come to Atlanta the Saturday before the Thanksgiving weekend. Thank you. We are changing the world. We are asking our Congress, our senators, our state senators, and our state reps to do something that's never been done. We Republicans don't have to lose the presidency. We control the state legislature. We control the Senate. We control the presidency. We control Arizona and Georgia, allegedly. So do not get up. Stay in the streets. Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Thank you.
I'm all for that. A lot of protect.
One more announcement. If your name is Patricia Carter, please come see me. I have your driver's license. Patricia Carter. I don't want to use it to vote. Tomorrow at the Capitol, come between 9 and 10. You'll find that information at stopthesteal.us. We're going to have hundreds out there outside the Capitol when the 2 state Senate committees are meeting to talk about our votes.
It's not just that we're out here voicing our opinions for us, we're out here voicing our opinions for all Americans, because Americans deserve a free and fair election.
And those people that are telling you right now that it is over are lying to you.
We're not guided by your governor. We're not guided by your Secretary of State. We're not guided by Joe Biden. We're not guided by the New York Times. And we're not guided by all those stations that call the election. You know what we're guided by? The Constitution of the United States.